Yo, what is up? Welcome to the Figure Four show. As you see, you have Todd, Tim over here feeding the baby, Mario to my left. I guess it's my left, and then we have a new intro entrance into the Figure Four family. Welcome to my boy Naz. He's also here at Fort Drum, New York. Didn't know he was a wrestling fan until he added me on Facebook, and I just seen so many posts and posts. I was like, man, he's gonna be perfect for the team. Someone that I can rely on too out here because we have the same schedule almost. I mean, he does work more than me as far as hours and details, but you know what I'm talking about. So we're gonna dig right in. All right, you guys all know, and whoever wants to go first, that's fine with me. But it's WrestleMania season now, right? We're in the midst of all these storylines, getting together for the big show coming up April 1st and 2nd. And we're going to start off with the beginning of the season, which was where we had our watch party. We're actually going to talk about each result that happened in the Royal Rumble, starting with the Royal Rumble that we all watched, and actually, put input on storylines you think are going to be implemented. Because there was a lot of things. If you talk to me about it, when it came to the 30-man Rumble, there was a lot of storylines that were built right then and there in itself. So, who wants to start it?
Whoever.
Who wants to go first?
So, all right. With the so we start with the Royal Rumble itself, or are we starting with?
Yes, the first match was the men's Royal Rumble.
Where is this on here?
Cody Rhodes wins the Rumble by eliminating who I think is he's next up. I can't wait for Gunther to get his roll on.
I can't wait for Gunther to get his due, bro. For real. I felt that the men's Royal Rumble was super underwhelming. Like, we knew who was winning from the get-go. When I grew up watching the Royal Rumble, I was always a big fan of the surprise entrance. You know what I mean? That's why I watched the Royal Rumble, just seeing all the surprises that are coming in and so on and so forth. We knew who everybody was, for the most part, that was coming in, and there was no real surprise in it at all. I think Edge coming back was cool. Other than that, I felt it was very underwhelming. This push for Cody Rhodes is, we knew it was coming, and we knew it was coming for months on end. I'm trying to see if there was anybody out of the ordinary. They had Rey Mysterio not showing up. I think he got injured, right? Was he injured for that?
He got jumped.
Yeah, but that was a storyline they went with, was him getting jumped. But I think he was actually injured for it. I think he had a broken finger or some shit like that.
Oh, I didn't know.
But other than that, I don't think it was anything. For me, the Royal Rumble was like a C+. It wasn't anything exciting. It was good to see Cody Rhodes finally get his due, but we all knew that was happening. You know what I mean? That was the worst kept secret in WWE. It was nice to see Pat McAfee come back, though. That was fire. I think that was the best part of the whole night, to be completely honest with you. One of the two best parts of the whole night was that. We'll see what happens with Cody Rhodes, because I think the people don't want Cody Rhodes as much as the WWE wants currently right now, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. You know what everybody knows with the hot story that people want. People want Sami Zayn, people want the bloodline. I feel like, unfortunately, this Cody Rhodes thing is feeling like it's playing second fiddle, which is what the WWE doesn't want. But it's hard when someone's so white hot like Sami Zayn right now to really get the response that you want from the crowd with Cody Rhodes.
Go ahead, Todd.
You know?
My issue with the Rumble is very similar to Mario's. The fact I didn't get a pop at anyone. None of there wasn't anything cool.
Nobody.
Random people didn't show up. I wasn't enthused by it at all.
Man, y'all disrespecting the hell out of Booker, ain't you? Hey,
No,
hey, come on, man.
even Booker said he
got to see the spinneroonie. Hey,
look, there's something that doesn't excite me about a 50-year-old Booker T coming in for 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's really get me hot and bothered. You know?
Yeah, I wasn't enthused by that. You know what? One of the coolest things I thought during the Rumble was the freaking Ricochet Logan Paul thing where they collided in the air on flying off the
That
ropes
was
like that. That was pretty cool.
I think there's
Yeah,
one thing that went overshadowed too is that for the second year, Kofi Kingston couldn't save elimination do his magic. It's 2 years in a row where he kind of
Botched last
messed it
year.
up. Yeah, he botched last year, and then he almost got destroyed by a chair this year.
yeah.
What were you gonna say, Todd? You forgot.
I don't remember now. I'm trying to think. I don't remember now.
Tim, what you talk about now? Tell me something.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was pretty open during our watch party about how I felt about the Rumble being underwhelming and such. I think one of the biggest storylines out of the Rumble, besides what you guys already talked on, was Gunther. You know, that was his expression of he's next up, which everybody agrees where the business stands right now. That's fine. That's where it should be heading. But I think the biggest storyline out of Rumble is what we're going to get at WrestleMania between Seth and Logan. I've said it when Logan was getting the match against Roman. I thought that was BS. I didn't like it, and then he made me a believer. He shut me the hell up when he had the match. Logan could go, and him getting
Yeah.
the match 1-on-1 with Seth. Hey, Logan's going to show why WWE is going to beg him and pay him whatever he wants to be in the business because he is a wrestler. He's an entertainer. You know,
Yeah.
as much as we don't like the guy outside of WWE and what he does, I think it's the right move. It's the right way to go. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's nice to see how like hyper athletic Logan is. You know what I mean? And to see that on display when he comes in, to see the things that he's able to do. He's able to do things that people in the business that have been in the business for years and years can't do. You know what I mean? And the good thing about Logan is he's able to get the reactions you're looking for out of the crowds. So I think that's nice in itself. And I was a big guy, like, why the fuck is this guy here kind of person? I thought it was going to be another Bad Bunny type situation where it's like, this guy doesn't belong here. He's just a fan.
Hey, Bad Bunny's nice too, though. You get a Bad Bunny Logan match, I think that'd be nice. I think they both can go.
The difference between Logan Paul and Bad Bunny is size. Bad Bunny's tiny. It's harder for them to put him over like that, I feel like.
Yeah. Logan has the look that WWE is looking for. But I don't think Logan is gonna be an everyday guy like WWE would want though, because he has his hands in so much other shit with his podcast and his other partnerships and his shit with his brother and all this other stuff. Like he's got way too much, I think, on his plate to be somebody who's gonna be there all the time.
100%. What? Let's go ahead and chime in, Nash. Talk to me about what you felt about the 30-man Rumble.
Well, like continuing on with Logan Paul. I think the only way WWE could really push him is to give him that Miz like character, but everyone's gonna see it as, oh, they're just mirroring how the Miz came up using that movie star, outside of wrestling type of persona onto Logan, even though Logan is extremely more established compared to what the Miz was when the Miz was making his rise and becoming WWE champion. But as far as the Rumble, those were like the main points. I could kind of throw out that going back to Gunther, he surpassed Rey Mysterio's record from 2006 with time, and Lesnar passed 30 career eliminations. I think those are two nice highlights to talk about.
Is Brock the leader now for eliminations?
No, I think that still belongs to Kane, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, you are right. I know. Kane also led like a singles Royal Rumble elimination, but Roman took that, I believe, in 18. So
Yeah.
man, that's crazy though. Look, I'm thinking back on all y'all. I agree on everything y'all said. We didn't get those old school surprises. We didn't get one of those like AJ Styles joining in 16 type of pop. We didn't get a pop like Todd said. You did get storylines, y'all. Logan Paul Seth was a good one, right? And then of course this thing with Cody it's just the timing. The timing is so off right now for this because if you go into the archives of before the Figure Four show, it was just Subtleflex podcast. Tim's been talking about like this storyline from the get, but it gets kind of, you know, underlined because of what Sammy's been doing, like you said, Mario. And it's really tough to figure out how do you move forward within a season. I personally don't like it, like because it's like we don't know, but at the same time, it's like Sammy is so freaking over right now. It's like how do you not have him main event Mania?
You got to
That
give the people what they want. You know
it's
what I
just
mean? At the end of the day, you got to give the people what they want.
it
And if
sucks.
and people and the fans are aggressive, they'll retaliate. You know what I mean? They'll retaliate and they'll turn on Cody Rhodes quicker than you can even imagine. And that's not what the WWE wants. But the thing that sucks is he had that injury. So he had that injury, and all that buildup that they could have had with him, they don't have it, and they have to do this buildup on a short-term loss or on a short-term thing. But the issue is you're trying to build up this guy while you've had this long-term storytelling with Sami Zayn the Bloodline, and like that's like the one thing. That's why people are watching these pay-per-views. Nobody, no offense to any other matches, nobody cares what's going on in all of these other matches. Like Royal Rumble wasn't even the main event. You know what I mean? Royal Rumble wasn't even, it was the opener. And nobody cares what's going on because everybody's waiting to see what happens next. That's why people are going. That's what people are watching. They want to know what happens next with this story. And it's hard, you know?
Yeah, I agree, but I talked about it. I think a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, within our chat about. I actually like it better now because I mean I've been big on the whole storyline. Cody Rhodes coming in win the title. I wasn't a big fan of it because I was like, you got all these other people in line who I think were better that deserved it more, and like the story itself just wasn't as quote unquote believable. But I like that. It's unfortunate he got hurt, but it put it on the back burner that we have another storyline they could go off of to where I thought, and I've said it, Rhodes has to face failure at first, right? Because this is like his first like actual big title shot in general. Like he's never really, I don't remember his first run him having a legitimate title shot at this caliber.
Nah,
So to
he
just
never
come
had one.
back to WWE and win that right away to me was weak. I think he has to lose, overcome, and really give to his story. I mean, I had to look up and say exactly what I said, but I had a whole rundown of how I think it should happen, and I know it involved Sammy. It had a lot to do with Cody attempting, being caused not to win, having that legacy, and then I had my little wishbone in there with Randy coming back and causing him havoc and ruining his title run. But that's a whole nother story. But I don't think Cody wins at WrestleMania. I know we've talked about it for so long that Rowan has to lose at Mania. I don't think he loses right now. I don't.
I
It doesn't
was
make
gonna
sense.
bring it up, like because of
It doesn't make sense.
this new storyline with Cody and what Mario was talking about, how it's in a short suspense of time. I believe he drops the belt at SummerSlam. I think that's where they prolong that story.
Is
You know
what
what I mean?
everybody wanted, the three-way match, right? It
Yeah.
isn't just a straight up Cody beat Roman. It gives it time for him to build Sammy, Roman, and Rhodes at SummerSlam, and then he could drop at least one of the belts there, if not both, in that situation. I just don't think Rhodes could come back from his injury on such a short notice with all the build up around it with Sammy and Roman for him to win a title. It doesn't make sense.
Go ahead, Todd.
You know what? We're talking about the bloodline right now. One of the things that I'm finding really interesting right now is what's going on with the Uso brothers. I don't remember what I always get them confused, but the short hair one, is that Jay?
That's Jay.
Like, I don't understand what's happening with him. Is Jay going to join Sammy? I think that would be very interesting to spin it like that. He won't, obviously. They're not. The Usos won't do
They'll,
anything not together,
they'll
I don't
convince
think.
Jimmy. They'll convince Jimmy to go back to his original stance on Roman, especially after because listen, Friday night I didn't watch it, but I see people post about it all the time. Jimmy was supposed to handle Jay and he didn't, so Roman was going to handle
Right.
Jimmy. Now you remember when Jimmy first came back, he didn't like the way Roman talked to him, the way he acted. So now not only did he act like this towards his brother, he's going to get in his face too, and that's going to push him over the edge. And we're going to see the bloodline break away. It's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be to join Sammy, but it's going to be like, yo, Oos, like you tripping right now, trying to act like you our daddy. You ain't our daddy, and that's I think that's how they do all that. I don't think it's a straight up Jay joins Sammy and faces Solo and Jimmy. I don't see Jimmy and Jay doing that.
I got a hot
It's
take for y'all.
Go ahead.
Do y'all foresee Solo screwing Roman? He is
I
Jimmy and
hope so.
Jay's little brother. If they wind up splitting Jay and Jimmy away from Roman prior to Mania, And Solo, he's quiet. He don't talk. He's that, straightforward being on television. Do y'all see Solo saying, you know what? Those are my brothers. Roman never looked for me. You just wanted me now
I love it.
because
I
You
love it
know,
because Solo was also sent by the higher ups. He wasn't brought in by Roman. You got to remember that they highlighted that too. There's a reason they highlighted it. Roman didn't ask Solo to come help him. He was sent by the older generation. So I could see it. The older generation, like, yeah, Roman tripping. He out here making a fool of our family. Like we gotta take care of this now.
and honestly, for me, anyways, Little Umaga is my favorite one. I
Oh,
like
my-
Solo.
Ah! Hey, so all right. We talked about this. We got into a lot of the storylines that we think happens from this Rumble. A lot of these matches I really don't want to talk about. Y'all want to talk about the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match? All right. Y'all want to talk about Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss?
No,
Okay, the women's Royal Rumble. I do want to highlight that Rhea Ripley did something historic. Like I will
he
talk
had
about
to.
that.
He had to. I mean,
Number one,
he had to.
it's good. It's
But
good for her. It's good for her.
the only other person was Asuka, but Asuka wasn't back long enough, so it didn't make sense. I mean, she had. I mean, no, I'm not trying to take away from what Rhea did. Absolutely great, but I mean, it made sense. No one else in the women's division really made sense to win there.
Anyone else want to
Yeah.
chime in before I hit the main event?
No, that's
you
really
don't
it.
need to chime in on the women's stuff.
All right, so look, we already hinted and talked about the main event and the storylines. Roman defeating Kevin Owens, and then of course the chair shot heard around the world from Sammy. A lot of storylines came. Jay leaving the scene and not helping with the beatings and stuff like that. We see the storylines unravel. Y'all can go into depth of more of it if you want to about how y'all feel about moving forward. Because for me, I see the Sami Zayn KO versus Usos thing also. That's also a thing that I could see for them to rip the tag titles away. I don't know about you guys. Naz, you want to go first?
Um, it's gonna get tricky with that when it comes to that tag battle with Kevin and Sammy. Because last week on Raw, KO's like he doesn't want nothing to do with Sammy.
I love that story.
So that's where the story's getting a little. Is like there's gonna be I see another 2 or 3 more swerves before we even get to Mania. I think we're gonna find out. They're not gonna tell us whether that's happening until the Raw before Mania. That's how I really feel, or SmackDown before Mania. It's gonna be. We're not gonna know this far out. There's too much stuff that's unpredictable right now with the story. Being Solo's take, what's gonna happen with the Usos and Roman. They have so much time between now and Mania that they're gonna draw it out. And it's really hard to say what's gonna happen because the way they've ran this bloodline story for the last 2 years, almost 3 years with Roman, there's been so much up and down.
I freaking love it. What you got over there, Tim?
Yeah. I think it goes back to what we were just talking about with the whole Usos leaving Bloodline in general. I think that tag team title match comes after the Usos are no longer a part of the Bloodline per se. Like I think that they're fully separated themselves from Roman, and it's kind of their first thing that they do on their own, which leads back to them losing and Roman saying, "See, I told you needed the Bloodline." Blah blah. However that works out. But I agree. I think we don't find that out now. It's just way too early. I think, like you said, maybe the week, maybe 2 weeks before you finally get KO saying, "You know what? I'm tired of them. Let's take them out." But at the same time, the bloodline's breaking down so much. I don't know that KO is going to want to battle with them because he's not worried about them once they're out of bloodline. He just wants to kill everything Roman loves, and that's the bloodline. So once they're out, I think KO's satisfied. I don't think he cares about getting those titles. I don't think he cares about anything else but taking Roman out. So there's a lot that could, like you said, there's so many different storylines, there's so many different ways it can go, and I think it all goes back to what Mario said. The fans don't want anything else but Sammy right now. So I think WWE's trying to figure out how to weave around that and then make other storylines make sense to all tie into, because I don't think they want. The thing with Roman losing the straps is once he drops, you have to find a new face because he's going to take a break. He's going to take some time off. So once he drops, you got to find, okay, who's our face of WWE then? And Sammy's on record saying it for himself. He could never be the, I don't want to say couldn't be the face, but like he's not the face type of guy. He's a guy who can carry the title, but he's not a face. So that's where I think they're trying to figure out, okay, where do we go after Sammy wins? Do we give it to Rhodes right away? Or do we let them battle out before he becomes the guy? They got to figure that part out. And I think that's where all the storylines tie in together. And we're kind of in a weird space right now because of that.
You got to take Todd?
Hey, so let's be serious though. If we're talking about the Usos and the tag team titles, I don't know about you guys, but that tag team division on either show is stale as heck right now. So
Agreed.
if it's not Kayla, if Kayla and Sammy don't take it, who takes them? Who carries those titles?
Street
Drew and
Profits?
Sheamus. Drew and Sheamus. Street Profits about to break up, dog. They've already foreshadowed that. They foreshadowed the hell out of that.
I want to see them break up too. I can see Drew and Sheamus. That's kind of like a bar remake to me. But
It's one of those things where Drew's not really main event right now, and Sheamus is on the back end, but they're great together, so they can carry a title to build up some other teams. I mean, it just makes sense.
what I thought was interesting too, and I'm not a big Braun Strowman fan, that Braun Ricochet match tag team, it was kind of cool.
You got the big bruiser and the cruiserweight. That's a good little take. Mario, you got anything?
I'm trying to figure out what the end of the road looks like, right?
And I like it
And-
how we don't know.
And I don't think he drops the titles before he hits 1,000 days as being the champion.
That's why
But also
SummerSlam
at the
makes
same
sense.
time, I think they're in a weird situation where they have to like eventually he's gonna have to drop the titles. Like he's not gonna be the champion for 40 years. You know what I mean? So like that'd be weird. Old man Roman Reigns looking like Ric Flair trying to still throw Superman punches. But I think they have to do it while still protecting Roman Reigns' his character, right? So the way I see it is I think all roads eventually will lead to a no pun intended, all roads I think leads to a triple threat match with Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Roman, and Sami or Cody Rhodes pinning one of those each other for the title without Roman Reigns getting pinned, and Roman Reigns not necessarily losing the title, but losing it through somebody else's means to protect that character. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think he's protected already. I'm sorry, I keep stealing a lot of these highlights, but the thing about Roman being protected is with everything going on in the background with the bloodline. I think that's just enough for him to be like, I wasn't focused. I was worried about my family, and that's why you beat me. I want my run back because I wasn't.
But then
he's not going to lose. The thing about Roman is he's not going to lose clean. I don't mean like Rhodes cheated by any means, but there's going to be a distraction that causes Roman to lose the title. It isn't going to be Rhodes just straight up hitting a crossroads and pinning him and being the champion. It ain't going to happen like that.
I would like for like Rhodes to like do something with KO and Sammy going at the bloodline. I think that would be a good dismantling, but because I think you have that Cody Rhodes storyline with Paul Heyman as well going on, where like especially Paul Heyman is shitting on him, saying that his dad wanted Roman Reigns as a kid, essentially. You know what I mean? Which is brutal. But I think you got to do something because like even if you play the I was distracted thing, I think Roman Reigns' character still takes a hit in that regard. But if you have Rhodes pin Sammy or Sammy pin Rhodes, Roman didn't lose, but he lost. You know what I mean? Roman lost without losing.
So we're talking about worrying about Roman saving his character and everything, which I understand. But what if Roman doesn't care? There's been a lot of speculation he's going to follow The Rock and go to Hollywood. So maybe he doesn't care anymore.
Hopefully his acting is better than The Rock's, but I don't know.
Call my cousin real quick.
I think Roman Reigns does take a break and comes back in form of Cena or Rock and become a seasonal thing. But I don't know. I don't think Roman's gonna go away from WWE for a few years.
Nah.
I think it's gonna be a few years before that.
For me, I see it. This is his last big run at the title. Like I really feel. I agree with what you said. 1,000 is the key number right now. having 1,000 days as a champion in modern day, because you got to think you're never gonna reach freaking what's his name
Bruno.
Bruno. You're not catching that 2,000. Hell, you're not even catching freaking Fabulous Moolah, who did it for 6 years straight or something like that. That's some crazy number. She went crazy on like a streak where it's never gonna be touched, right? But modern day, 1,000, that's a good number for him. And I feel like he reaches that. I'll do the math later, but he reaches that at SummerSlam. But the only thing I care about for the brand is
Yeah.
that they split the titles back to and give it back to the respectful shows. Like we shouldn't have another person carry both. I don't think there's no character. I think Cody takes one, Sammy takes one, boom, there goes your new brands and your champions. Todd,
How you
Honestly,
do
when it
that?
comes to the world title, I think I'd be okay with them just having one and having the champ work back and forth, and then maybe adding another mid card to both shows.
that's too many mid cards. That's 4 mid cards.
No, yeah.
No, but I mean, Mario was talking about a cruiserweight, so that could be one of them,
But that's a whole
and like an
different
actual hardcore
that's a
title.
whole different area of the top world titles. They just need to bring back the cruiserweights regardless, just because there's so many small guys on the roster.
It's so hard to have like somebody work both shows like that because you've seen Roman Reigns miss some SmackDowns and Roman Reigns miss some Raws. Like you gotta split them up because at the end of the day, like the storyline's great, but like it'll get stagnant eventually, and people will get tired of just one person lording everything. And then because right now you're in a weird place where like everybody only gives a fuck about one storyline right now. And like nobody, like me personally, I don't give two shits about anything else going on with anybody that's not named Uso, Reigns, or Zayn right now. You know what I mean?
So yeah. With that being said, Rumble's done. Give me a grade real quick before I go. Grade the whole pay-per-view.
C+ for Rumble, A+ for main event.
Yes.
Because that whole storyline, like everybody was on the edge of their seat for that, especially when Sami Zayn hit him with that chair, bro. You like the pop on that was insane.
Yeah. I'm going B plus just because of that. I'm taking what you graded and put the average there. I'm going B plus.
Before we move on, let me ask you guys a question. What if they would have saved that chair shot by Sammy for Mania? Sammy screwing Roman the title, so Cody can win it. And then now you could have a whole storyline of Roman and Zayn pushing it out, them fighting back and forth till SummerSlam, and then let Cody do his thing with the titles. Can you imagine 80,000 people yelling at the top of their lungs for a chair shot?
Yeah, but this thing had to come to a head sooner rather than later, I think. I think you're probably right, because like it would have been nice to just keep it going and then like let Cody Rhodes do his thing and then Sammy screw him on that, which would have been great. But I think this thing with Sammy had to come to an end sooner rather than later. I think they started building it up early enough to where it had to come to a head,
And I also think the only caveat off of that too is if you do it at Mania, like him just screwing Roman just to screw him, you don't get the breakup of the bloodline, which was the ultimate goal of their storyline, anyways. So without that, because if it's just him screwing on the whole bloodline's mad. We trusted you and you betrayed us. To where right now, this is why Jay is so conflicted, because Sammy's done everything Roman's asked him, and then he put him in a situation he didn't want to be in, and then belittled him. We have to go back to the very beginning of the bloodline. I mean, main event Jay, right?
Yeah.
Like this is how it was created.
Little.
He was being belittled before he finally bought in, and him seeing him do that to Zayn after just showing everything that Zayn did for Roman really helped break up the bloodline. I mean, so I agree. WrestleMania is bigger pop, bigger whatever, but when it comes to the breakup of the bloodline, which is the ultimate goal, it just wouldn't have worked.
Give me tag team Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. That's what I want.
I take it.
Sammy J. That's what we're gonna call him. All right, so we're going to our next pay-per-view. All right. And by far, I'm excited to talk about one match in particular. So we're gonna go into this. We're gonna talk about all the matchups. Does anyone want, besides Todd, want to talk about Asuka winning the the elimination chamber?
I think it was right
Obvious.
only because Rhea's going after Charlotte. So Asuka
Look,
going
man,
against Belair.
I'm just glad it wasn't Raquel Rodriguez because I don't know what people are seeing in this chick, but like she ain't it, and she keeps getting pushes and like she's like this like I don't know who I dislike more between her and Ronda Rousey. You know what I mean? I don't know who I dislike more, but like they keep trying to push her and like. Also, for the record, like her back don't look that good to be doing that every time she. Like,
I was thinking the same.
I get I'm a thick boy and I don't got like I'm not built like that, but like your back don't look that cut to be like flexing your wings like that, first of all.
Just the shoulder blades is all it is.
Yeah. What am I looking at? Shoulder blades and a spine? Fuck out of here with that. She ain't that good, bro. I'm so over Raquel Rodriguez, dog. I'm over it.
That's a good point though, because for me, I always said that too. It's like the thing I don't like about her is the character that she's built. She smiles too much for me. Like you're supposed to be this intimidating, strong, like female, and you're just sitting there smiling and
Yeah.
it's like, I don't. We need her to go turn heel. Maybe that will help her. Go be a bodyguard for like Alexa Bliss or something real quick or something. I don't know. Like she has to change it up. Like because this character, we don't even know what is she supposed to be. What's her character?
What's gonna happen is they're gonna keep pushing her and people are gonna retaliate. Just like they did with Lacey Evans, bro. I'm telling you.
That's what I'm
They're gonna
saying. I mean,
retaliate.
They messed up with Lacey Evans when they brought her back now as a Southern Belle. I don't know why the hell they did that. The
They
Southern
tried to
Belle
make
was
her they
working.
tried to make her a face.
The Southern
And then like
Belle
it's
was
so hard.
working. Why did
It's
they
so
go away
hard
from
watching
it?
all of her fucking boot
he's
camp
a
cut-ups. I'm
Marine.
like, it ain't that deep, dog. I'm like, it ain't that deep. We all went through boot camp. It ain't that hard, bro. Like, relax. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't that hard, dog. Ain't nothing she didn't do that we didn't do. I ain't tripping over that.
Bro,
I was like, ooh, she went through boot camp at 30. I don't care, man. And she was an MP in the Navy or in the Marines, bro. I'm an MP in the Navy. We don't do shit anyways. She sat on TikTok all day. Don't fucking
Hey
feed me some
Mario, bro.
bullshit.
Hey, that shit is so unfair because yeah, we're service members. Like to a regular individual, like oh yeah, boot camp.
Yeah,
It's so
ooh.
funny though, like how service members view that shit. Like yeah, congratulations, bro. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't
You
matter
went
at
through boot
all.
camp.
wow.
Fantastic.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Ooh, you slept outside.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I don't buy it because it's hard to buy it. It's like when military people watch military movies and we point out all the bullshit. You're like, that wouldn't happen. You're like, that's what it is. You're just like, oh, she did army crawls for a couple of minutes. Like, fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here, dog.
It just went fucking crazy on Lacey Evans, and she's not even in the
Bro.
fucking show.
And I liked Lacey Evans. The thing is, like, I liked Lacey Evans when she first was doing a thing and she was great as a heel. Then they brought her back, tried to bring her back as a face, and nobody bought that for a minute. Like they booed her out of the stadium. Like, fuck out of here, bro. Take your
Laughing.
fucking stupid Marine
She's not even on.
uniform.
She's not even on the card, and the energy you brought for that. Let me change it up. It's good though. I'll tell you what. The Asuka Belair match, I'm looking forward to at Mania. I think that's a good matchup to look at. Other than that, man, I didn't really see too many spots that I really liked about this match. So I'm just gonna move on to the next one, which is another storyline that we were supposed to get. Obviously, we're probably not gonna get, but Bobby Lashley winning by disqualification to Brock Lesnar. And I see a lot of heads shaking. Well, give me something.
I want Brock Lesnar and Gunther. That's what I want. I want a
Yes.
Brock Lesnar and Gunther
Yes.
match. That's
Yes.
what I want. They had the stare down, and they're not going to do shit with it. And I'm going to be upset when they don't have that match.
You know what I want? I want Brock out of WWE, man. He's ruining everything. Like I've said this since he first came back to try to beat Roman for the title. I hate when he's in the picture because all he does is come, beats the hell out of somebody, takes the title, goes on a little run, gets beat by somebody random because it's a transitional champion, and then he goes back and beats the hell out of everybody again. I think the match between him and Bobby was good. I don't like the way they ended it. They shouldn't have ended disqualification, especially like that. That was some weak ass. It didn't help Bobby. Like, and that's the most important part of Brock.
And they keep pushing Bobby, and Bobby's stagnant too.
Like that's what I'm saying. The thing about pushing Bobby and having him with Brock was to help push him. And you had to end like that. That didn't help push him. That made it worse.
Bobby, Brock, and Almost all need to just go. I don't care about none of them.
Almost shouldn't even be on the damn roster, bro. Dude,
Facts.
they talking about him
Big
fighting.
as shit.
Talking about him fighting Brock. Oh, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
Oh,
Naz, talk to me.
Look, I don't need to see a buff taco fall in the ring, right?
Taco Fall.
Sorry, dog. I don't see a buff taco fall in the ring, dog. I'm good.
Hey, Todd, what are you gonna say?
I said somebody needs to send his ass to MLW and just let him hang out there.
Man, that's a good spot for it. He'll probably make some good noise there. Maybe, I don't know.
No, he shouldn't be in a ring, bro. He's not a wrestler. He shouldn't be in a ring.
Hey, Naz, you agreed on Brock Lesnar versus
bro.
Gunther. Give me your take on the Brock Lesnar versus Gunther and why you're so excited when he brought that up.
So the matchup between Gunther and Brock is, I think it'd be something magical because Gunther, he's very stiff worker. Like he lays his shit in there. Brock's another one, lays his shit in there. And I think that's the type of competition Brock needs because a lot of Brock matches, they're usually finisher mayhem matches where it's a bunch of spears, a bunch of F5s, a bunch of Superman punches when he faces Roman. I think Gunther is actually he's gonna stretch the shit out of Brock. He's gonna put Brock in a situation where Brock's uncomfortable. Because Gunther could work. We've seen it, his Rumble performance, an hour and 11 minutes. It's never been done before. And he's a big dude. He's not a small dude.
So I agree with you with the stiff worker thing. I know from watching Braun Strowman get stiff with Brock, you got to be a little careful with that because he will knock your ass out.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think that would be a very good match.
Yeah,
I want to see them chop.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Chop City would be amazing for me.
So with what Tim said about Brock leaving, I feel like this match should happen before that happens. You know what I mean? Because if you want to help the business, for real, boost up Gunther even more by him beating Brock. I mean, I don't know if y'all agree or not, but I think because we know the projectile of what we can see in the future for Gunther, but having Brock under your belt in your resume it's just gonna help you even more. But Tim, what you think?
Does Brock really put people over? Like, Brock is almost like, I'm not gonna compare him to that piece of crap. I'm not even gonna get into it. But you know who I'm talking about when it comes to putting people over. Brock's not a put over guy. He's a guy who's either carrying a strap or he's beating the hell out of somebody. He's just a money draw. So like, yeah, I think Gunther beating him is really good for Gunther, but I don't see Brock doing that. Like, nah, I'm cool. Like, I'll go fight Bobby again in an MMA match. You know what I mean? Like, put us in a cage. We're gonna fight MMA style. Like, I think he'd rather do that than put somebody over. And it's not a shot to Brock. It's just who he is as a character. He ain't putting nobody over. He's beating the hell out of you. You beat the hell out of him. Somebody gets disqualified, and that's how you win. Like, it's not. It's never just. That's why I don't like Brock. He's just a money grab. He's not an actual entertainer. He's just there for money purposes. And you know how I feel about that. I'd rather get a good show than hey, we made so much money off of this show. I don't care about that. I want to see quality wrestling.
I can say,
yeah, I was gonna say
when it comes to the to Brock not putting people over, I think he's put people over when it's made sense. For example, WrestleMania 35 when he faced Seth Rollins, it just made sense. They started the show with that. Seth beats him, though he whoops his ass before the bell even rings. Another one that Brock put over. Brock put over Goldberg in 3 minutes at fucking Survivor Series a few years ago.
He put Drew over too.
He put Drew over in COVID WrestleMania. I think he only does it when it makes sense, I guess. But there's times where he needed to put someone over and didn't, because like what the fans wanted, pretty much like with Finn Balor at the Rumble a few years ago. We wanted to see him put Finn over, but we kind of knew it wasn't happening when Finn didn't use the demon character. Kofi, he squashed the shit out of Kofi. We wanted to see Kofi prevail that time too.
Yeah, Kofi made shit all over it.
Yeah.
Kofi beating Brock, you can't even dream that shit up.
Yeah, of course.
But see, that's the problem with individuals in wrestling industry. Like, as fans, sometimes you're too far realist. Like, you gotta, like, we all understand that wrestling's quote unquote fake. Yes, like, oh, he can never be. Bro, anything could happen, bro. It's a fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like just think about on the streets. Like, you see little people beat the hell out of big people all the time. That's why they're like, I don't care. People always say, I don't care how big you are, because that's a legitimate statement. I will beat your ass regardless of how big you are, as long as you have it like that. And Finn Balor at the time being the demon would have made perfect sense. He could have beat Brock as a demon. That's the thing that's so special about the demon character is they use it so little that when he comes out in that persona, you're like, oh shit, he's about to run over whoever he fights, no matter what. So I think Chad has had a problem with smaller wrestlers. He just don't believe people small and other people can beat him up or something. I don't know what it is. Like it's just crazy to me. But I get it. Brock is great. If he puts Gunther over, I'll be happy. I think it's a great match as long as he puts Gunther over.
I got a small guy
loses,
take after Todd speaks.
Because if Gunther loses, it doesn't do anything for him, right? Like the whole match was pointless.
Yeah,
that's my stance.
So for me, someone like Finn beating Lesnar, especially as the Demon, makes complete sense. Kofi's goofy ass gimmick doesn't do it for me. It's not that they're small; his gimmick is stupid. It's overplayed. That's like Big E. Big E's not going to be good to me until he gets out of that goofy pancake throwing bullshit. I hate it.
Do you guys remember when Ray beat Great Khali and Big Show?
Yes.
When I saw that shit happen, I knew small guys could beat anyone in the business. As long as they write it, they can find a way to beat. They can find a way to win.
Exactly.
I do agree. I don't see Kofi beating Brock. Like realistically, when you think of the two characters, Rey Mysterio's character is the David Goliath character. He's small as shit, and every time he's won, he's had to fight people who is much larger than him. Kofi's character versus Brock's character, that's debatable. It's dependent who's writing it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It, like what you said, like how you paint the story.
Yeah.
I think, but that's why I say like the way they painted the story. Kofi going into that match had all the momentum. He had all the backing from the fans because he was on that Kofi Mania kick. They could have very easily wrote him to beat Brock. Now I'm not saying just straight up clean beat Brock, like some magical had to happen for it to happen, but they could have wrote it. They chose not to, which is fine. Like they only gave him the title just because he's been in the business so long. We know that's why. It's the same thing with Ray. He only got the title shot because of what happened with Eddie. I mean, it's unfortunate that's the case because Ray's a very good worker. Kofi's a very good worker. But sometimes when you're dealing with this business, it's like what Sammy said. If you don't have the look, sometimes you get overlooked.
Yeah, and then I also think that the Brock thing happened with Kofi because they had that whole Cain Velasquez shit that was cooking up for Crown Jewel that year too. So it's like you want to have Cain versus Brock with nothing on the line, they're just fighting because of their history, or do you want to put a little salt and pepper on it and make it for the title, even though everyone knew Cain wasn't winning, but it gave a little oomph to the story for Crown Jewel that year.
That's a really good point. So I don't know about y'all on this next matchup. Y'all know how I feel about the Judgment Day. But do y'all want to talk about this one?
I'm over them.
Thank you, Mario. I'm getting sick of the Judgment Day.
They need to take Finn out that group, man.
Thank you.
I'm really getting sick of them having him beef with Edge. Let Edge live, man. He already beat y'all 4 fucking times. Let him go. Like, what are we doing? We're wasting Edge's rest of his career. We're wasting the rest of his career.
The thing that sucks about the Judgment Day is that like they could be so great, but like nobody knows where they're going with them. Like I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Remember they had like the whole like the paranormal thing going on, and now they're like high school bullies, bro. Like, I don't know what's up with that. They're just like high school bullies, bro.
They're recruiting people. They like to recruit people. They try recruiting AJ. They try like, what are you guys doing? I don't understand. And I feel like how many times is Edge gonna have to beat them to like redeem himself?
5,000 times. I don't have nothing to say. I don't like them.
Like, we know Edge has only got maybe a year left in his legs for this business. Like, what are we doing? Having him fight the Judgment Day every damn time. Like I thought it was great that he went out there and fought against AJ. They put on a great match. That was a very good match. And I think I want to see more of that. I want to see Edge fight Gunther. I want to see Edge fight anybody else but the damn Judgment Day. Like, I'm tired of seeing him fight the Judgment Day with his wife. Like, we get it. Beth and Rhea are saying they're both Goliath. Like, they're both just beating the hell out of each other. We get it. Edge doesn't like Finn. Finn don't like Edge. We get it. Like, we don't care. Like, the story's stale. Let it go.
Hey,
Move
talking
on.
about
Dream matches.
talking about Beth and Rhea, those fucking clotheslines they were giving each other at Chamber they were kind of stiff. I was kind of surprised they were hitting each other like pretty fucking yeah. That's all I can say. Like, I was watching. I was like,
Rhea matches because they're stiff in those.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good matchup. So we're going to the actual one I want to talk to because you guys know how big I am on Montez Ford. So we're going to talk
Oh
about
man.
the United States Elimination Chamber, which was funny because when Tim was on the other show, I forgot, or like it was probably in the group chat. He was like, "I don't care about that Elimination Chamber. We just care about the." It was like, bro, this is a U.S. title. I get it, but that was the show stealer right there. Montez Ford showing why he's next up for a singles run. Logan Paul coming in to solidify the storyline with Seth. You know, Austin Theory retaining the thing. There was a lot. There was a lot of things that happened in this match. I believe this was one of the historic elimination chamber matches of all time. And y'all could agree to disagree. Y'all could talk
Yeah.
to me about it. But Mario, you want to talk about it first?
Uh, I thought it was nice to have a bunch of wrestlers in the Elimination Chamber, a bunch of guys who have good technical skill sets, minus like Bronson Reed. But like, it was nice to see guys who know how to work, do what they do best, and it was nice. My favorite moment of that whole thing was when you had Seth Rollins and Johnny Gargano sitting on top of the chamber with each other,
And
and they were
Seth
like taking a
chopped the
break,
shit
and they
out
were
of
like talking
Johnny.
with each other, and then Seth Rollins chopped them. Bro, that shit was hilarious, dog. That I thought it was very excellent. It was nice to see Montez Ford finally get his spotlight alone. Austin Theory, I get hit or miss with Austin Theory. Like I like him, then I don't like him, then I like him again. I think you need to figure out a lane on what you want Austin Theory to be. I know his daddy went away for a little bit, so he kind of fell out of the spotlight, and then his daddy came back, and he's back in the spotlight. But you got to figure that out. Daddy meaning Vince McMahon, by
Yeah.
the way. But I think that you got to figure out what you're doing with that. I think Bronson Reed was the one guy that like shouldn't have been there. In my eyes, I don't think he should have been there. Uh, yeah, I also I as much as I don't like Judgment Day, I like Damian Priest. I know you guys probably don't like him as much, but I think when Damian Priest works alone is when he's at his best. So
Priest had a pretty good run against Gargano in the NXT. I like that.
NXT, yeah. When that Archer infamy gimmick
yeah,
that he
I
had at
miss
NXT, that's the Damian Priest that I like. Like
Yes.
the entrance with the little shooting the arrow and his fucking name popped up under like over the ring. I love that gimmick. This Judgment Day bullshit, different colors in his hair and being all weird and shit. I don't like it.
Fred, you're mute. We can't hear you, dog.
Again, can you hear me now?
There
Yeah,
we
you're
go.
good. Again, the Montez Ford part was all for me. Like from his high flying off of the damn chamber or whatever the thing is called, the pod, all that stuff. Like it's like he is such a good work. His character is funny. He could be a funny character. He can be serious. I see him like doing this. Like I was telling y'all, I can see this like HBK in him come out over Marty Jannetty, like type of turn on
Yeah.
his partner, and then they have a feud, and you know what I'm saying. That's how they break up, and they both get their singles runs. But at the same time, to me, I think they're prematurely doing this. I really feel like Street Profits as a tag team has a lot more to offer for the business. I think if they do split, I hope they come back and redo this. I know they're gonna come back, but at the same time, it's like Montez Ford does deserve that run, and I'm just a big fan. And you guys know, I've been preaching this for the longest about Montez Ford. I'm a huge fan of his, huge fan.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna
And
go to the.
did you know Montez Ford was a former Marine and didn't have to go to boot camp twice?
There's one thing before we move on. Mario talked about AJ, not AJ, Austin Theory,
Austin?
and he made a comment about his daddy. I wanted to say this during the Rumble. It's been hot. It's been hot for me for a while. I've been trying to say it. I want to get it on the cast here. Vince is such a selfish motherfucker, bro, that he is
Facts.
willing to come back and instead of giving the business to his family, sell this shit. I know there's a bunch of rumors right now. No one knows if it's selling. But if he sells this damn business, he's the pettiest motherfucker alive, bro. Like, you are going to ruin the thing you built because you're too petty to pass it on to your daughter and her husband and your son. Like, what is this man doing? Like, come on, bro.
And we
That's
had
the
a good
most That's the
joke
most
in
selfish
the
ass
chat.
shit ever, bro. Like that's so selfish. Like, come on, man. But
Old Daddy Vince, man.
I know he said something about the daddy coming back, and it just hit me like, bro, fuck Vince. Like to come back and sell the company is so dumb. Like you're gonna ruin everything you've built.
That's a
Fact.
lot. That's a lot of stuff that he's built too. But that's my thing. We had a lot of jokes about this in the group chat about who would own it and shit. That shit was funny. I want to go back to that part. But um, to that point, how many of y'all been here? I felt like the rumors died down since the initial part of them trying to sell it. Have y'all been hearing anything else about it?
Yeah, he wants $9 billion, bro, with a B.
That's not the problem. He can't sell while he's under lawsuit, and Detroit sued him. So he's under lawsuits right now. They done held it up, and now all of a sudden SummerSlam's in Detroit. I don't know.
Surprise!
Okay, let's keep
Surprise.
suing him until he can't sell the company. We just keep suing him back
Hey,
and
hey
forth.
Nash.
Different states.
Let's sue him in Fort Drum, New York. bring Survivor Series up here.
Syracuse, the Dome.
The Dome. All right, so look, we're going to the main event. Of course, the storyline continues with Sammy, the biggest pop in a while. Even at SmackDown the night before, like he couldn't talk for 5 minutes. They just kept doing. And that's what I like about foreign crowds when they went to Germany and NFL and stuff. They have these traditional like chants that they do out there, right? And then like I don't know if that's a Canadian thing or not, but every time they go up there, they do their little ole 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 like it's so
That's a soccer
dope.
thing.
I don't care. It's so dope though. It's like they literally like have that shit and they go crazy over him going back over there. I was mad because Naz, did you know that they were in Montreal? I didn't know for the longest.
I saw they were in Montreal about a month out, but at that point it was too late because they already knew that where they were going with the main event for that Sammy shit.
I'm so freaking pissed.
Like
I
a
wanted
month,
to go
3
so
weeks out.
bad, man.
It was like the week of Rumble because Elimination Chamber was only 3 weeks after Rumble or 2 weeks.
Something like
It was
that.
the week before Rumble. Like everyone knew what was coming, but that shit it was too late.
What y'all take on this? Because when I watch this match, it's just over dominance of Roman on this matchup. I mean, Sammy had his spots, but at the same time, it was like,
And that's how you write that shit.
yeah,
When you got an underdog like Sammy going against a powerhouse like Roman, that's how you write that shit. Roman beats the hell out of him. Sammy endures it, has his moments where it's like, oh, he might actually win, but he doesn't. And then he gets his ass whooped again. Then he has. That's exactly how you write it. That's emotional attachment. That's exactly how you do it.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
What was crazy about it all is that like we knew Sammy wasn't gonna block. For me personally, I knew Sammy wasn't gonna win, but I was so emotionally invested in that it was possible that he could win that match. You know what I mean? It was so good. Give the people what they want. Let Sammy just win one, man. Give them what they want, bro. Give it to me, damn it.
There's one little small detail about that match that I really enjoyed seeing, and that was Roman trying to convince Sammy's wife that he didn't want to do what he was doing to Sammy that night. With I was trying to help you guys. You guys could have been with me. That little back and not really back and forth, but that little moment between Roman and Sammy's wife, I love that shit because that put so much more for the story.
That's a good point. Go ahead.
He's the best at that, man. Like he can't talk on the mic for shit, but he gets them off just little jabs at certain people, just little sayings. Like the promo they cut before he gave Sammy the match he wanted was subpar. But then he come in the ring and was like, "I want to beat you down in front of your family, like you destroyed mine." Like that was perfect, and that wasn't even part of the promo. That was just him ad libbing. Like he's the best at that. And I wish he could do that on the mic. Like I don't understand why he can't. Why he's so stale on the mic.
Roman's kryptonite. His kryptonite is the microphone. Give him a fucking headpiece. I think he'll do better.
For real, because he's really good. Like I forgot someone else. Like I look up on social media who brought that part up. Like even the chants during the fight, and he's over here like, "That's all y'all got? That's all you got?" Like I'm sitting here like, man, that's genius. That is genius.
Bro, when he did that match with Cena, and he was like, "You come out of retirement for this? I don't want to do this to you, John." Like, it's so perfect. Like, it's the character as a whole. And then he just gets on a mic and it's like, "Yo, bro, like, what? Come on, man."
It makes me want to hit him with the shoosh.
All right, so Elimination Chamber is done. We have WrestleMania next. Talk to me, y'all, about what y'all looking forward to. In within that whole card, besides the one we keep talking about. I'm talking about everything under that. You know what I'm saying? Because this is end up gonna be just a fucking bloodline episode. But let's talk about the undercards. Let's talk about matches that you look forward to watching day 2, day 1, whatever. I don't know what the match we never find out what the match card is,
The
but just the
bloodline.
matches. Oh my gosh, bro. I'm looking
I
forward
got
to Mario versus Lacey Evans. That's what I got.
Yeah.
one.
I'll make her go through boot camp a third time.
Go ahead, Naz.
Do you guys think we're gonna see that story between Ray and Dominic come to a head?
I needed to die.
You think, but I think for that to happen, Ray's gonna have to hang it up. This is gonna be something. It's a one and done. Dominic's gonna have to put his dad into retirement, like a serious retirement. This is Ray's retirement match. I would, if I was like in there, I would love for my kid to retire me and to end
That's a
up
good point.
me passing the reins to my son. Dominic hates his dad, right? Storyline. He's still rocking the Mysterio last name. He don't hate him that bad. He could have dropped the last name. That's the one thing that's attaching him to his father is the last name. So I
He
think
needs to change his last name. He needs to change his last name to his real dad's last name and go by
Guerrero.
Dominic Guerrero. Damn it.
It has a better rhyme to it.
Facts.
or Dominic Ripley, because that is his mommy, right?
They don't have a
She
they
could
don't
be
have
my
a
mom
ring to it.
too.
Facts.
I thought that was. I think it's a good point, man. I agree with you. I said that to my wife. I think a week ago when we were watching. Like, yo, Ray's gonna have to retire, and it's gonna have to be Dom. I mean, that's just where they're at. I think when Dom and him finally do get a match, when Ray officially agrees to put his hands on his child, it's gonna force him to retirement. I think that makes sense.
You're gonna have to hit him with the "I love you" super kick.
I love you,
And
Father. My
yeah.
real daddy.
I see. I'm not a big fan of this match, but the way you placed it on the table right now of the retirement of Ray, what better way than a father to go out and his son he brought in do it for you? You know, like I can't see anyone in that locker room that can retire Rey Mysterio.
I don't think it's this WrestleMania though. I will say that. I think it's too early. I don't think Ray's ready yet.
damn,
And
man.
that's the thing.
Another year?
Do you drag the story out? Because every fucking every holiday, I'm scrolling through social media waiting for
Facts. To see him
Dominic
fucking
to
beat the shit out of that motherfucker, bro.
Exactly.
Does it have to be? Does it have to be WrestleMania?
It could be SummerSlam. Yeah, SummerSlam or Survivor Series.
I say, could it be?
I can't
Survivor
wait to
Series?
wake up for St. Patrick's Day.
But the problem is, like, if you're gonna do something like that, you have to put a lot of limelight on that story because that's a big moment. Ray is,
Right.
he's a pivotal figure in WWE history. So to do that right now, the only thing people want to see at WrestleMania is this Roman, Sammy, Cody bullshit. Like, that's the only thing everyone's worried about.
With what you're saying, something like that would have to be a main event.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
And with that being said, Dom ain't ready for that.
I'm not watching a Dominic main event. I'm watching MLW on YouTube. What the hell? I'm not watching that shit.
That's what I mean. You'd have but the thing is, that story would be that big. It would have to be a main
Mario.
A main event on
Dominic
Sunday Night Heat.
Dominic
Huh?
will never be a main event, bro.
I know.
He'll probably main
I know.
event at your show.
How about this? They didn't. Shawn Michaels and Rick wasn't a main event, and those are two of the biggest fucking people in the history.
Yeah.
In the game.
WrestleMania moment. That's it.
Taker's last match against AJ was a main event. Everybody knew that was Taker's blowout. He won, but he
and it was a cinematic, and it was
That match. That's one of my favorite matches of all time. That match was fire, and it wasn't even like an actual fucking wrestling match.
No.
that was one of the best cinematic matches they've had.
Yeah.
You
Fire.
don't like any of
And
the
then
Bray Wyatt ones?
they tried to recreate that shit with Bray Wyatt and John Cena, and they just couldn't recapture what they had.
No.
They keep ruining Bray. They start off so good with all these promos, and then they fuck it up somehow.
I'm
And that's
over
what
Bray
they're gonna
Wyatt.
I think the issue with Bray Wyatt is the fact that at some points he's a no seller. His character, like he needs his character to no sell. That's why my favorite version of Bray is that that swamp version of Bray, because he could lose. His new characters, they're built up so much with all the vignettes, and he goes a long time before he fights anyone, that basically these characters become unbeatable, and that was the Fiend's downfall.
That's why I don't see how they're gonna put him with Bobby Lashley. How does that even work out? Bobby Lashley ain't gonna play that gimmick shit.
Because as soon as those lights go off and his fucking face starts glowing, he's wearing a mask, that's it. You already know he's not gonna sell shit. He's gonna take everything you give him.
If they don't give me Brock and Gunther at WrestleMania, I'm gonna be upset.
Not. It's Brock versus Omos.
Yeah, that's what they're building.
They're building
Nobody
that
wants
match. Nobody wants. Nobody wants it. We talked about it. Nobody
I don't
wants
think it's
that.
gonna happen. I think they're just bull crapping us. That's just something to keep the eyes off of what they're really cooking up. I don't see it. I don't see Omos being in WrestleMania at all. Like he hasn't. What's the last match? He hasn't fought since Bobby beat him in what pay per view was that? Like he hasn't had a match since. So it just don't make sense for him to fight. But like I said earlier, I think the one of the main mid card fights that I'm looking forward to is the Logan and Seth Rollins fight. And in theory, I don't know who Theory's going to fight. But he's got to fight somebody at Mania, right? Like he's the champion. He's going to fight someone. I want to see who they match him up with. I think you let him fight Montez Ford at WrestleMania, and I think it's going to be a fire match.
I got one for y'all. What about Theory goes into Mania without an opponent and we get Jay White?
That's where I was going with. I think Jay White's still that debut or return type of surprise that I feel is one of the top 5 that. I also think Rusev comes back. I don't know why I keep bringing that.
Or Andrade. I was hearing Andrade is having issues.
Oh, the problem is if they were going to bring him back, they should have done it the Rumble. The problem you're going to get with
no,
and is they still got contracts left.
Vogt. I know where you're going with this.
If you have Theory do an open challenge at WrestleMania, it makes perfect sense because no one's expecting him, right? You think it's gonna be another guy like Edge or Damian Priest, like just another random mid card?
I think Jay White would be suffice as far as that surprise for that type of matchup. One, Jay White's an excellent worker. Everyone he's credible. I don't know if he's as popular as people think he is, but he's credible in the ring enough to sell more of Theory. Theory's essentially gonna, if they ever had that, yes, he's gonna win. But at the same time, a pop for Jay White and Theory, that's a pretty good match.
I think Nas said something that was slick that kind of went over everybody's heads. But you mentioned Andrade, and Charlotte made a hint towards him on SmackDown. I don't think he helps. Like I don't think he's going. He might be at Mania. I don't think he's going to be. But I think that Dom in Rhea's storyline is going to end up spinning off to like an Edge and Beth, but like an Andrade and Charlotte kind of mixed tag team eventually, just to give Dom, because Dom, he's static right now. He don't have nothing going for him. Like he
Hey man, he went
to come back to fight with his wife in a battle against this guy and his mommy. Like I think it makes sense down the line. I don't think obviously it's not WrestleMania mode because they're fighting for the title already. But I think Dom gets involved in that match a little bit. Charlotte still retains, but he gets involved, and that brings back Andrade to be like, hey man, why you touching my wife? That whole big storyline.
Bro, how the fuck how would that couple even work? The man can't even speak real English. Like, how the fuck? Like he can't even get on the mic and say 3 words, and he married.
You heard what she said? She said? He calls her mommy.
That's pretty much all he needs.
I gotta have a real man that calls him mommy at home.
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to the Jay White thing. If Jay White does debut at Mania, can you see AJ coming back into prominence and him and Jay White, because of their time in New Japan, them having a nice little series of matches?
Yeah.
Because AJ's pretty stagnant right now too. What's AJ doing? His boys came back and they haven't done shit.
Well, he's hurt.
I know, but I'm saying like prior to him getting hurt, they weren't really doing much with his boys coming back.
The Judgment Day bullshit, but they were
that's
so I mean, they were building something. Whether
Yeah.
what that was going to be, who knows? But like he was getting TV time. He just got hurt. I mean, that really ruined everything.
You really haven't seen shit from the OC also, and that sucks because that whole thing was gonna be okay. Like you have Finn and AJ in front of each other, having their past. But Jay White, for me, I don't think Jay White comes in with that Bullet Club nonsense right now. I feel like he comes in with his just switchblade character and just go off of that.
Yeah.
I think they leave it at that and keep him like fresh off and stay away from the BS because Bullet Club needs to stop. Like I'm tired of these hints of Bullet Club because it's killing what I used to like when I was watching it. You know what I mean? Like the actual Bullet Club. I just hate it because it's like the OC, that's the Bullet Club. Then Finn wants to bring it up, and it's just like I feel if Jay White does come through, just leave the damn Bullet Club stuff alone. And just be Switchblade, because I've been a fan of Switchblade, for the longest.
If we don't get Jay White answering, because now you got me excited about the open challenge of the United States Championship.
It makes sense.
Could we see the debut of Braun Breaker on the main roster?
Does he?
He will have to drop the title, which they're going to that. I think he's gonna lose it to Melo. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pushing already. So he's about to get freed up right in time for WrestleMania debut.
I don't think Braun has to lose the title either. He could do kind of like what the Viking Raiders did and just drop it and be like, "Hey, I'm bored as shit. I'm going up."
Well, you're setting it up already. He's gonna lose the Hayes. They're setting that shit up.
Yeah.
He turned heel too. He's definitely.
And honestly, I think Carmelo Hayes, that dude has a bright future, man. That dude, he could work his ass off. I like his matches.
There's a lot of rumors that he's going to join the Hurt Business to help fight against the White Six.
And I was trying to bring that. Yeah, that's where I was trying to bring this back up because I wanted to bring it up while we were talking about Bray, but you didn't bring Melo up, which gets me back on track of that because I forgot for a minute. But there is rumors of that, right? There is rumors of him, joining from NXT coming up. Like, say he doesn't win the title, then he becomes a person to come up to go against the Wyatt Six. What is y'all take on that? What y'all saw on SmackDown this Friday. What is y'all take about this whole thing? It's like for me, my son is a real big Bray Wyatt fan. Like I am so tired of the music. He literally plays that Funhouse music all day. It gets annoying. Like even Marley is starting to sing it. But to me, I like it's a stale thing with Bray with me right now. Because again, Bobby doesn't make sense. But if they're gonna bring Hurt Business, if they collide, it kind of makes sense to me.
I didn't watch SmackDown, so
I didn't either.
I didn't see it.
It was just a whole vignette. Like it had the Playhouse back in, but they had all these other things happening. Like none of the characters were in there. It was just the freaking house. And then I believe Alexa Bliss came in there too as well and read something. But it's just for me, it's like you have to watch it, and I want your input. Like let me know what y'all think about that. But they brought the Funhouse back. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stories that I'm guessing on.
I think with the Wyatt Six, fucking whatever the hell they want to call it, his family with his little creatures and stuff, we're not gonna know who's gonna come out, who's portraying those characters until we find out who Uncle Howdy is. We all know it's fucking Bo Dallas, Bo Leave. You gotta believe.
There's two Uncle Howdys. So they've been doing this. The Uncle Howdy that was on SmackDown, not this last Friday, the Friday before, is a different one than the one Alexa Bliss has been seeing. There's two different.
The other one's shorter, right?
Yeah, he's shorter. Yeah, there's two Uncle Howdys. You got different. Their hats got a little bit of differences too. There's two Uncle Howdys. I don't know.
I think those details went over my head the times that he's popped up.
Yeah, he got a different mustache a little bit too. Like the one was shorter than the other. Like the very first one that gave Bray the sister Abigail was taller than the one we just seen last week. Like it wasn't the same height. So like I think there's two different Uncle Howdys. I do agree though. I think one of them is Bo. I just don't know who anybody else is. I know there's been a lot of rumors about Red Gear coming back. So.
He's too damn big to be playing Uncle Howdy. The Uncle Howdy people haven't been that tall.
I just meant as one of the guys.
Yeah, he could be.
Eric Young could be the other Uncle Howdy.
I was thinking Eric Young. I don't know. I don't know much. So who else do you think would join Wyndham 6 anyway? I mean Wyatt 6 anyway. Like I can't think of anyone but Bo Dallas. Like, who,
I think
IRS comes back.
when they first were like when Uncle Howdy first appeared and they started this Wyatt Six stuff started like surfacing. They were naming a lot of people from NXT. Obviously, they named Bo Dallas as being one. They named Grayson Waller. They named that dude that's in the group with they named Grayson Waller. They named the dude that's in that group with Ava Rain or just Ava. They dropped Rain now. The stubby dude with the little beard.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. I haven't been watching NXT too often.
I forgot that group's name.
The clown dude. He stole the name from the clown or the serial killer. I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, definitely forgot. Huh?
Gacy was his last name.
Yeah, something Gacy. Yeah, but they named a bunch of people from NXT, and the dude who did the video explained why he felt those were the people who were gonna portray those characters.
I don't know. Yeah, I might have to look that. You're gonna have to tag me on that so I can watch that.
Yeah, I'll tag you on it.
It's all rumored up because I thought when they first presented that Karrion Kross was going to be a member, but that's clear now that's not the case because he's still getting TV time. Yes, he's still getting TV time, but I thought at first that he was going to be one of the members. His just persona just fit it, but that's not the case. I mean, maybe it's not as clear as we think. Maybe hiding in plain sight kind of thing. Maybe I don't know.
All right. So before we shut it down, I want y'all to give me your hot take moving forward before we talk about WrestleMania. Anything you think like watch out for this? Do y'all have any of those?
I already said it. I don't think Rhodes wins. I think Sammy cost the title, and that sets up the three-way. Because I think it has to happen. I'm with Mario on that. I think it has to happen in a triple threat or a fatal four. I don't think Roman loses straight up just because of where we're at in the storyline. Had Rhodes never got hurt and kept going, maybe. But where we stand right now, I don't see it. So I think Sammy interferes, causes Rhodes to lose. That causes a beef between Sammy and Rhodes, which have a beef between Roman, which sets up the triple threat.
So you know how everyone wants to see The Rock come back for this Mania to face Roman, right?
I forgot all about
We don't
that.
need it, and I'm in a lot of agreement that we don't need it. But the reason why, like the reason they told us why The Rock's not going to be there, I think is bullshit. The reason I do think is because they don't want Rock to face Roman while Roman's the champ. Rock is not going to work a full-time schedule to beat Roman, and I think that's what they want to do. They want Rock to beat Roman, but they can't do that while Roman is champ. That's just something I feel. So I feel like we're still going to get Rock Roman eventually. It's just Roman has to drop titles first.
That'll be his retirement.
That ship sailed, man. That ship sailed. They're a year and a half, 2 years too late. But I think you mentioned The Rock, and I completely forgot. We're talking about Theory doing an open challenge. There's rumors that John's coming back to work a full-time schedule within the next couple weeks. We're probably going to get Theory versus John Cena at WrestleMania.
That's right. John's coming back in that Boston Raw show. The 16th, I think.
Go ahead, Todd.
I was gonna say, Vogt said something about earlier. He made the comment that as long as Mario said as long as Roman's not as bad of an actor as Rock. I mean, John Cena got to come back. He's the worst actor out there.
Whoa. John Cena is the better actor of all those wrestlers turned actors.
I don't know how you can see him.
Did you not see him play?
I can't see it.
He's a hell of an actor, bro. Hold on, time out. He's a hell of an actor.
John Cena's fantastic.
I can't see it.
Stop it.
Batista. That's a hot take.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah, you're right.
He's got all kinds of shit, and it's good. He's in good movies. Not
that
just random.
That was a hot take right there.
Like, we're taking your name to make this movie good. He's just in a good movie.
Nah, it's all about the Miz. Y'all tripping.
Hey guys, we skipped over a match that might potentially happen at Mania.
What is that?
Becky and Lita versus Damage Control. What do you think's up with that? I don't want to see it happen. Lita, they need to stop bringing Lita and like Trish back.
That's a piss match.
Yeah, that's a get-up match.
If we're talking about piss match, shout out to Aaron who texts us an hour later. Hey, are you guys on? Aaron, bro.
I wanted to stir the pot with that because I know that match is happening on Raw tomorrow. But what do you
Nah,
think is gonna happen with that? Like, where do you think those women tag titles are gonna end up? Like, what do you
Waste of
think
time.
that storyline is gonna be going into Mania?
I think those
It's
titles
a
are
waste
gonna end
of
up in the
time.
title.
I'm not a fan of the tag division right now. It's nothing like there's nothing dominant in the tag division. Like I'm not even a fan of Damage Control in itself. Besides Bailey, shout out Bailey. But like the tag team division needs to get solidified first for me to believe in these titles. Because back then you still had the Iconics. I like the Iconics. They were really good workers as tag
Yeah,
teams, right? Then you also had Sasha and Naomi. Those were really good workers as a tag team. But
they
you don't.
really shit the bed on that one.
I just don't see another team. Like, what other women's teams are there out there? I mean, the only one I can see that people hate is I like Rousey and Shayna Baszler together. I like that too. Those are good. That's a good work. Yeah, yeah, Tim or whatever. But
I think had Mandy not get fired because of her
I like
side
toxic.
hustle.
I like Toxic
Yeah,
Attraction.
Toxic Attraction, man.
But they
Those
broke up.
JC
They
Jane,
broke
yeah,
up.
they had to because Mandy is what held that together. But JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, those they could work as a
Yeah.
tag team. They had. I'm kind of excited for Stand and Deliver to see that match between those two. I want to see how they work against each other because that triple threat at the last pay per view wasn't too bad.
Go ahead, Todd.
You know what they need to do with those titles? They need to give them to Nikki Cross and let her do her thing with them. Just toss them in the trash.
Oh, there goes another take. Look, it was a fun time, Naz. This was a great time. Your first show of many. As you
Yeah,
can see,
absolutely.
it's always us four and Aaron whenever he shows up. You know what I'm saying? You'll see Aaron in the chat over here texting and stuff, but doesn't ever show up. But it is what it is. Um, like, comment, subscribe to the Southern Flex podcast. This is another great episode of the WrestleMania season for the Figure Four show. So my boys, I'll talk to y'all in the chat, and I'll see y'all later.